Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, the place where we help you improve your English step by step. I'm Nancy, your host. And as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Brian.
Hey, Nancy. We're really excited about today's episode because we're going to talk about something that many English learners struggle with, understanding fast English.
That's right. Imagine this. You're watching your favorite movie or listening to a podcast, and suddenly the English feels so fast, it's like a blur of words. You try to keep up, but the sentences just fly by, and you only catch a few words here and there. Have you ever experienced this?
I totally get that. When I first started learning English, I had the same problem. It was so hard to keep up with what native speakers were saying, especially when they spoke quickly. You might start thinking, is it just me? Maybe my English isn't good enough.
Exactly. But what if I told you that this isn't about your English skills at all? It's actually about how native speakers speak. They don't speak the way textbooks teach you, and that's what makes fast English so hard to understand. In today's episode, we're going to dive into why English sounds so fast. We'll break down the key features of native speech that make it difficult to catch everything. And most importantly, I'll share some practical strategies to help you improve your listening skills and understand fast English with ease. Whether you're watching TV shows, listening to podcasts, or having real conversations by the end of this episode, you'll feel much more confident when you encounter rapid speech. Let's get started.
Oh, I totally get that. When I first started learning English, I would watch movies, and it felt like the words were just a blur. I couldn't catch anything. It was so frustrating. But over time, I realized it's not just about speaking quickly. There's actually a reason for it. English sounds fast because of how the words are connected, reduced and stressed in real conversations. It's not all about speed.
Right? It's about how native speakers speak differently from how we learn English in textbooks. I remember watching a Hollywood movie for the first time and thinking, what's happening? Even though I'd been studying English for years, the words felt like they were dancing around each other. It was so hard to keep up.
Exactly. And that's the point. English can sound so fast, especially for learners, because native speakers don't speak the way we expect them to. We learn English in a way that is very formal and clear, but real-life conversation is much more fluid and natural. Let's break it down. One of the main reasons English sounds so fast is something called connected speech. When we speak in real life, we don't say each word individually. We connect the words together to make the sentence flow faster. For example, in a textbook, you might see a phrase like, "What are you doing?" and think that's how it's said in real life. But when native speakers say it, it often sounds like, "What you doing?" The words are linked together, and some sounds are blended in the process.
That's right. And don't forget about word reductions. Native speakers often shorten words. For example, we might say, "I've got to go now," but we'll shorten it to, "gotta go now." I used to hear that and think it was some slang, but it's just how we naturally speak. It's a shortcut we use to make conversations flow more easily.
Yes, and contractions are another big factor. Instead of saying, "I am," we say, "I'm." Instead of, "He will," we say, "he'll." These reductions and contractions make English sound much faster and more natural. It's a way to make speaking easier, but it can also make it hard for learners to understand at first.
Okay, so now we know why English sounds fast. But how can we recognize these features when we're listening to native speakers? How can we catch these fast words when we hear them?
Great question. Let's talk about linking sounds. First, native speakers often don't pronounce each word separately. Instead, we link them together. It's like we connect the sounds to make speech more fluid. For example, turn it off becomes turn it off. When said quickly, ever tried saying that fast? It's hard, but that's how we speak in real life. You wouldn't say turn and it separate words, right? They blend together.
I get it. And sometimes sounds just disappear. This is what we call dropped sounds, for instance. I don't know becomes, I don't know. The T sound just disappears. This happens a lot in casual conversation. It can confuse learners, especially if they expect every sound to be pronounced clearly.
Yes, exactly. The T just disappears. This happens with other words too. For example, instead of saying, I am going to, native speakers will say, I'm gonna. The word going becomes gonna. And the pronunciation gets much faster. It's not just an informal speech. It's how we speak in every conversation. When you're listening to native speakers, these reductions are everywhere. And that's why it's so important to get used to hearing them.
Yes. It's interesting how we naturally make these changes to make speaking quicker and smoother. And all of these changes, connecting words, reducing sounds, and dropping letters, are things we do without even thinking about it. It's just how we speak naturally. So now that we understand why English sounds so fast, and we know about connected speech and word reductions, what can we do to train ourselves to understand fast English better?
Great question. It all comes down to practice. One of the things I did when I was first learning was listen to podcasts or watch TV shows at a slower speed. At first, it was hard to keep up with the speech, but as I got used to it, I increased the speed little by little, and my understanding improved dramatically.
That's such a great idea. You can practice by listening to slower versions of English first, then gradually increase the speed. Many platforms like YouTube and podcast apps allow you to control the speed so you can start slow and work your way up. This will help you adjust to faster speech and improve your listening skills.
Another helpful technique is shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a sentence and repeat it immediately after you hear it, as if you're echoing the speaker. This helps you train your brain and your mouth to handle the natural rhythm and flow of speech. It also improves your pronunciation because you're mimicking the way native speakers talk. You're not just listening, you're actively participating.
That sounds fun. I've done this before, and it really helps. And another important tip is to focus on key words. When you're listening, it can be tempting to try to catch every single word, but that's not the best strategy. Instead, focus on the key words in a sentence. For example, if someone says, "Want coffee later?" the main idea is clear. You don't need to understand every little word to get the meaning. Focus on the important words like "want coffee" and "later."
Exactly, focusing on the key words helps you understand the message without getting stuck on small details. You'll get the general idea of what's being said, and that's the most important part.
Now that we've talked about strategies for training your ears, let's talk about practice. The best way to understand fast English is by listening to real conversations.
Yes, real conversations are the best way to get used to how native speakers talk. You can watch TV shows, movies, or YouTube videos with real dialogue, for example. I used to watch shows like Friends or The Office to get used to the natural flow of conversation. The characters speak quickly, but it's real natural English. It's different from what you read in textbooks.
That's a great point. I love watching shows because you hear a lot of different types of conversations. You'll hear people talking casually with friends, having serious discussions, or just making jokes. It's all real-world English.
Exactly. And podcasts are another fantastic resource. Many podcasts feature unscripted, casual conversations. You can pause and repeat what you hear, which helps you practice the same strategies. We talked about Plus. Podcasts are great because you can listen on the go.
And don't forget to talk to real people. If you have any English-speaking friends, practice with them. If not, find someone online to practice with. There are many language exchange programs where you can talk to native speakers or even talk to yourself in English. It might sound funny, but it's a great way to practice speaking and listening at the same time. Let's talk about some common mistakes learners make when they're trying to understand fast English.
One of the biggest mistakes is translating everything in your head I used to do that too. I would listen to English and immediately translate it into my native language. But that only slowed me down. Instead, I had to learn to think in English. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. It might be difficult at first, but with time, you'll get used to it.
That's so true. Another mistake is focusing too much on individual words. When you're trying to catch every single word, it can make things feel even more confusing. Instead, focus on phrases as one unit. For example, instead of breaking down every word in, "What do you want to do?" just recognize the entire phrase as one unit. This makes understanding easier. Let's talk about some daily exercises that can help improve our listening skills.
One of my favorites is the 1-minute listening challenge. Find a 1-minute audio clip. Listen to it once without subtitles and try to catch as much as you can. Then listen again with subtitles to check your understanding. This exercise is great because it challenges you to focus and helps you track your progress.
I love that. Another great exercise is shadowing practice. Find a short sentence and repeat it immediately after you hear it. Try to match the speed and tone of the speaker. This helps you practice natural speech patterns and improves your pronunciation.
And don't forget to summarize what you hear. After listening to a conversation or podcast, try to summarize the main points in your own words. This will help you focus on understanding the key ideas instead of getting stuck on individual words.
The key takeaway here is simple understanding, fast. English is a skill, and it improves with consistent practice. Don't get discouraged if it feels tough at first. The more you expose yourself to real fast English, the better you'll get.
Exactly. So here's a challenge for you. Try using one of the strategies we talked about today for the next week, and let us know how it goes in the comments. Keep practicing, and soon you'll start noticing improvements in your ability to understand fast English.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Happy learning!